We talked about Garrett Wilson in the Big Apple. I'm going to stick in the Big Apple in New York City. I'm going to go to Malik Nabers of the New York Giants. ADP 52 overall, good for WR24. He is by far my favorite pick in round 5, and hell, I think he'd even be my favorite pick in round 4 if he stayed, if he crept up a little bit in that ADP. I mean, I just think he has all the tools to be awesome for fantasy this season. And before I even make the case on Neighbors, I kind of want to just hop in the time machine real quick. I want to go back to 4 years ago, or Brian Daboll was the OC in Buffalo, and they traded for Stephon Diggs. And at the time, Josh Allen was teetering on that kind of like break point of his career, where the first 2 years didn't go that great, and they were kind of thinking like, okay, is this the ceiling with Josh Allen? And in order to get that answer, they surrounded him with talent. They went out, they traded a first round pick for Stephon Diggs. In his 2 years in Buffalo, when Brian Daboll, who's the current coach of the Giants, was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, he made Stephon Diggs one of the most targeted players in the NFL. In 2020, he was number 1 in the league in targets among wide receivers, and he finished WR3 overall in fantasy scoring. So as much as people are down on Daniel Jones, and I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to make a Josh Allen-esque leap in this, what is this now, his 5th year with the Giants, but I do think that I look around this Giants offense and I see it just being bereft of pass catchers outside of Malik Nabers. And the last time we saw this type of scenario unfold in a Brian Daboll offense, it was in Buffalo, and all they did was funnel targets to Stephon Diggs. And if you guys watch Hard Knocks at all, you know this team that they were incredibly high on him throughout the process. They even had him above Marvin Harrison on their draft board, if you believe what you read on there. So turned down several offers to move back and just stayed there, grabbed their guy. And listen, even though this Giants offense might not be like top 5 in the league in scoring, I don't see that coming. I think there's enough targets to go around and to enough. And when I say go around, I mean go to Malik Nabers to keep him incredibly fantasy viable this season, guys.
I like to call him Malik Neighbors. There's just not a lot of competition for targets, and he's clearly the most talented player in that offense. I think Daniel Jones is going to throw the ball his way early and often. I mean, Neighbors is just that. I mean, he's that guy. I mean, you can put him in the same breath as even like guys like Jamar Chase coming out. I mean, even Justin Jefferson, Neighbors was probably a more sought after talents in this year's draft than Jefferson was when he was coming out. I mean,
100%.
Neighbors is just that guy, and I think the talent, the cream of the crop, rise to the top. Neighbors is that guy, and I don't hate Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones gets a bad rap sometimes. I'm kind of excited to see what he can do with a guy like Malik Neighbors. But I mean, just look at that Giants offense, like you said, Kamish. There's just no one of consequence in there that's going to compete with Neighbors. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 150 targets this year. He just needs to stay healthy, and picks like Neighbors in the 5th round could win you leagues.
I agree. I mean, not a whole lot more to add on to Neighbors. I like him as well. I mean, let's also mention that Barkley is gone, right? I mean, I know he's a running back, but if you looked at the Giants offense last year, the offense really just lived through Barkley and to see what they could do while he was on the floor, right? I think, the offensive plays may change a little bit, on the goal line, or like the 5 yard line, that's got Neighbors written all over it too. So I love that call as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is also like kind of a make or break year for Jalen Jones. I mean, they can get out of his contract after this year if they want to. And so it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, Barkley's gone. They signed Devin Singletary. They signed a couple of offensive linemen. I get that. But like, you got to get an answer on Daniel Jones, and you're going to get it this year. You're not going to get it by handing it to Singletary. So they're going to chuck the rock to Neighbors a ton. He's going to be really fun to watch. I think he's going to take the league by storm.